Ladies and gentlemen, we have here Barry Rudolph. Yeah, give an applause to him right now. Yeah. Bravo.
Thanks so much, Arnold.
Welcome to
You're in Mexico City, right? Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to Mexico. Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you. And well, Barry is a record engineer, a record producer. He has worked with Hall and Notes, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Natalie Cole, Enrique Iglesias, the Corrs, and with the great Rod Stewart in 2 albums. Is that right?
That's right. And I have about quite a long list. And you mentioned some of the highlights. That's great.
Wow, congratulations. It's a pleasure and an honor to talk here with you. And for all your fans in Mexico, what can you tell about the music? What projects are you working at the moment, Barry?
Sure. Okay, a couple of things. I am working on remixes. People send me stuff to do my version of a remix or just a regular mix. I can't talk about particulars, but that's what I do in my studio here. I have a Pro Tools. You can see some of the gear in the background, but so there's that. The other thing is that I'm learning Dolby Atmos mixing, and I want to start doing mixes in Dolby Atmos. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's what's happened is that Apple will start streaming immersive audio and games and everything, movies, and they've decided that Dolby Atmos is the format to use. They've also made some other declarations. So it's kind of becoming what's going to be the standard, I guess is the way to put it. So want to get update on that. And then I'm always writing reviews. A member of the AES, was chair of the LA section for a while, the Los Angeles section, and working on my studio, and I'm getting ready to do a bunches of things. In particular, artists, can't really say too much about that, but things are going on.
Yeah. Talking about artists, is there one artist or band that you would like to work that you haven't done yet something with them, or you accomplished all your goals?
Well, I don't think I've accomplished all my goals, but I would like to work with, I like female pop artists. So I'd like to do a record with Dua Lipa. I'd like to do a record with little Ariana Grande.
Oh,
female pop artists.
yeah.
Dance, I guess, dance oriented. So I seem to gravitate towards R&B anyway. Most of my records, big successes, were R&B records. So now they call it dance.
Yeah. Now that we are talking about also music genres, is there a music style that you prefer to work? For example, rhythm and blues or pop, or rock, or ballad?
All of that to me is pop music. So when you say R&B, rhythm and blues, if you say rock, if you say country, I've done a lot of country records, but all of it is pop. You want it to be popular. So I'm good with any of that, any of those genres, I'm good.
Wow, great. I love it. Well, it's music. It's important part of your life. And if you haven't been a record engineer or record producer, what are the things without music? Do you see life without music?
Do I still what without music?
Do you think, how do you see life if music doesn't exist?
I don't think that's ever going to happen. People are always going to make music.
Well, music is in our hearts because we have the rhythm.
Rhythm is music. So yes.
And melody.
Melody, yeah.
Another question. What is your advice for the young songwriters, producers, or musicians? Where should they go for having success? What they have to do? Because there are millions of musicians in the world that doesn't have the lucky or the fortune, I don't know what word to say, like you, for having a successful career. What is your advice for them? What do they have to do?
I think there's it's most important to get good at your craft. There's a lot of and always share and get opinions from other people when you're starting out. Work with other people. That's how you learn things. You collaborate, we call it. That's how you get better, in my opinion. You other people in the room hear what you're doing, and I think taking lessons, if you're want to be a musician, I think get good at being a musician. Practice whatever it takes. I think staying with it. I started at an early age, my interest in electronics, but I've always had this interest in working with music. And, you know, I think if you start at a reasonably young age, you can really, I guess I'm being limited there, but it's about how interested. In other words, how bad do you really want this?
Yeah.
You want to kind of like, okay, maybe on the side when I get time, or do you want to do, this is the only thing you ever want to do? You'd rather do this than eat food.
Yeah.
That's the kind of burning desire that it takes, first of all.
And do you believe in luck, or do you think it's just a choice of yourself?
No, I believe in luck. I think luck stems from being ready to step up when you get an opportunity to do something. The luck part is that you happen to work on a record that became a hit. You know, I worked on a lot of music. Most of it you never heard of because it's either not a hit or it didn't want any good. So the luck part is that you happen to work on a record that becomes a big hit. That's lucky. My first #1 record was very lucky. The guy was in 1972, believe it or not, and he had a hit, but was only maybe top 30, and that's all he ever had. And when I worked with him, he hit. It was, and not only that song we recorded is called Show and Tell. That song was the third time we recorded that song. Can you believe it? He was the third artist. So it was kind of like the producer wrote it. It was a good song. He liked it. We recorded it with Johnny Mathis. We recorded it with the producer, Jerry Fuller, as an artist. He had an artist deal on CBS. And then we recorded the last time was with this guy, Al Wilson. Lo and behold, something about it, I guess. And that was, I think it sold, I think it was a 2 million seller single. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah. Wow. I really appreciate we having this interview with you. I was looking forward to it, and I appreciate very much. And it's
Sure.
an honor. I feel very good talking with you. And I would like to know, who is your favorite? Well, it's 2 questions in one. Who is your favorite songwriter, and who is your favorite producer, music producer?
Couple of producers. I've always liked Mutt Lange. I've always liked this guy that produced and engineered the early Queen records and lots of others. He goes by Mack, M-A-C-K, Mack Reinhold anyway. And those kind of producers I like a lot. And I worked with people like that. A producer I worked with I liked a lot. It was Oliver Lieber. And I didn't work with him on this, but he did a lot of Paula Abdul's first records. And the kind of producer and songwriter, Oliver's also a songwriter, are people that understand and get and can do all aspects of it. So with somebody like Mutt Lange, he's incredibly meticulous. If you listen to Shania Twain records, if he was married to Shania Twain for a minute, if you listen to Shania Twain, or if you listen to what's the song, Pour Some Sugar on It, what's those guys? They had a big hit. I forget their name right now, but if you listen to records he produced, there are things in there that you can tell they worked a long time. We're talking a lot to perfect things. And that's the kind of producer and engineer and songwriter that I respect a lot, because they're spending the time to get it exactly a certain way, the way they want it, and really, really good. So there's no, I mean, you can make a record in an hour, or you can do a really good record. It will take longer, probably, depending on your skills and the artist and the song and all that. But I love people that really hone their craft, really get things perfected, and you have a good time in the studio too.
Yeah. Wow. And talking about having a good time, how important is sense of humor when you are working?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you look, people get very serious in the studio, and that's understandable. I worked on Enrique's very first record, and there's a lot of tension because his father, Julio, did not want him to be a recording star. So there was that pressure. And all these people around him were all like looking at this thing and say, well, because they weren't really sure about all of it. And this is his first record, and it was just too serious, but it came out okay. I won't get into details, but it was a lot of work to make it sound like that. And
Oh, yeah.
and Enrique worked very hard on it. The producer from Spain worked very hard on it, very, very meticulous. So,
Yeah. I think there is a hit there in that album called Bailamos, something like that, no? I think it's the name.
I'd have to go get it. I forget. It's his very first record, very first CD.
Yeah. Do you speak some Spanish for your fans in Mexico?
No, not nada.
No, no problem. I was, like I told you, I was very enthusiastic for this interview because you are very important for musicians like me. I am also coach, musician, and multifaceted in my life. So what is the new, well, you said that you don't want to say names of some of the people that you're working out, but I mean, with all the artists that you've been working, do you have a favorite that you feel more comfortable with?
I don't know. I'd have to look back. I feel most comfortable with any artist, really. They all have their thing. You remember this whole thing about being in the studio, and this is kind of, a lot of young people don't get this part of it. Being a producer or an engineer or working in the studio with an artist, you have to understand that you are service oriented. Does that make sense? Service oriented. In other words, you're in service of the song, the artist, the whole vibe. I mean, you have to set that all up to get the best results in the studio. After all, you're invited to the creative process that, if you're working for a producer, for the producer, the creative process of the artist, the creative process of all the musicians that are playing, or the programmer, whoever's making the music, let's say, that all those creative people you have to be in service of. That's how it works in the studio. And a lot of young people don't get that. Maybe because they're used to working by themselves, okay, and they don't have to, there's no service, but they still have to, in service of the song. You still have to serve the song and everything about it. So when you keep that in mind, when you keep that in your head, that okay, I'm going to write this song, or I've written this song, and you have to start looking at, well, who would sing this song? Who would be good at singing the song? Is it the right key? You start doing what I call devil advocate kind of questions. And the right key, wait a minute, I modulate. Should I not modulate? In other words, change key. Should I have a double chorus for the second chorus or not? All these things are all decisions that you make based upon how it feels to you and how the artist who is collaborating with you, that's the other reason for collaboration. If you're nowadays, you usually collaborate with the artist because they're going to want part of the songwriting.
Yeah.
So,
I have another question. What do you think is the secret for a hit song or hit record?
does it connect with your audience?
Yeah.
Are you singing or rapping about something that they're gonna pick up on and connect with?
Yeah.
Basically it. And people will get to know an artist for doing a certain thing. So sometimes when you just keep giving them that certain thing over and over, maybe a better version of that certain thing, or some little different slant on that certain thing, you're going to be okay. When you give them something too far away from that, you might, unless you're very, very famous, you might run into some resistance. We all have seen that with certain artists do a strange album and what is this? Because you completely went away from what people expect from you. So
Yeah.
If I knew the real answer to that, like you do this, this, and that, and you have a hit, well, hey, wouldn't be here now.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that. Nobody.
And talking about spiritual and transcendental topics, what do you think is happiness and how you can achieve it?
What, happiness in life or career or what there, Arnold? It's a
Yeah,
little broad.
yeah, happiness in your life, your whole life.
Just be happy with what you do. Be happy with what talents that you have, what you've been given, your lucky moments, family, of course, everything around you. There's so much to be thankful for and happy. So that's the secret. Be happy.
And you consider yourself a happy person?
Not really.
Yeah. It's been a really pleasure and an honor to talk with you. One last message you would like to share with your Latin America public and fans?
Gosh, I haven't really thought about that. I'm trying to think of something. The guys, I did a couple of records with El Chicano, and they're LA guys, and
yeah,
they used to have, their records were so cool because they were so chill all the time. It wasn't like they would just do these cool Latin grooves, Latin influenced grooves. They had a timbale player, Rudy, who was a wild man, and I think they had a good balance on all of it. They looking back at that, yeah, I think be like those guys.
Yeah,
I would say.
Barry, Rudolph, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your interview, for your energy, and we hope to have much more of you with this, with your talent for the world. And it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much. You're very kind. Greetings from Mexico. We love all the music you've been working. And thank you very much for your talent to the world.
Okay, Arnold. Buenos dias, everyone.
Buenos dias. See you soon, my friend. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.